Good evening to everybody. How's everybody doing? I trust you're all doing well. I'm doing extremely well myself, and I'm extremely delighted to be here this evening. I left the school some 20 years ago. I'm part of the Mobile 1992 year group. I was in Battlesmith House. All Battle guys. Yes. I was the house prefect of Upper Dome. On the day they were announcing prefects, I was the first prefect to be mentioned.
Oh, sass! Oh, sass!
And I was the youngest prefect. But really, coming here over the past 2 days, walking up this campus, going through the dormitories, coming to the academic side, seeing all of you, I felt really excited. Taking part in the procession today, seeing the brass band, seeing you dancing up in the quadrangle yesterday, the spirit of Mfantsipim lives on, and I have a lot of confidence that this school is taking the right shape in the right direction, and that many of the things that we have ever wished that would continue to happen after we have left school are actually taking shape. Today, I feel again very, very excited because of all my colleagues. I've been the one to be nominated to speak to you and try to motivate you on the topic bearing the touch of the faithful eight to the next generation, what every Mfantsipim student must know.
Yeah.
Personally, I am extremely passionate about African leadership. Every single day, when I wake up, when I go to work, when I think, when I'm brainstorming and asking myself, how can I contribute towards helping Africans become some of the greatest leaders in the world? Really something that I'm extremely passionate about. Anytime I have the opportunity, in whatever small way that I can touch on a topic that will contribute towards Africans believing in themselves, Africans taking up the mantle and the destiny to make sure that they become world leaders, I will always offer myself to participate in that. And that's why I'm extremely happy to be doing this tonight. I see you as the future of tomorrow. The foundation for the renaissance of Africa, where many more Africans are going to become world leaders, and we'll see many more Africans taking up leadership positions, not just in their home countries like in Ghana, but for organizations, blue chip organizations like Google, like Microsoft, etc., etc., etc. And I'm hoping that by the time we have finished today's conversation, and I'm calling it a conversation because I'm not going to speak for too long, but I'm going to allow for an opportunity where we can have some amount of dialogue, where you can also ask us questions, make contributions, and at the end of the day, together put value to the discussion for this evening.
Take the vase out.
If you've gone through a little bit about the history of Mfantsipim, you'll always know that Mfantsipim has been a pioneer in terms of leadership across the world, not just in Ghana. So if you read a little bit about the brief history of Mfantsipim, you'll know of leaders like Kofi Annan, you'll know of leaders like Akofa Ata, etc. These are people who have reached the pinnacle of world leadership and are people who can demonstrate to us that as Africans, anything that we set our minds to, we can achieve. Now, the discussion today is largely centered around the faithful eight. My knowledge about the faithful eight, I recall, largely centered around discussions Mr. BK Donji had with us in the quadrangle. So many times, when we were in Mfantsipim, most of us in those days spent seven years on the public radio. There were significant challenges in those times. There were times that we didn't have adequate teachers. There were times that we felt that some teachers were not imparting the kind of knowledge that we were expecting. There were times that teachers went on strike. Those were really unique opportunities. Because I recall, for example, that there was an occasion where teachers went on strike. So during that period, we had no lessons. What is the natural demeanor of the student? To play around, to fool around, etc., etc., etc. I recall Mr. Dontry at assembly would then take us through the stories of the faithful eight. Now the faithful eight were the 8 students who, without the headmaster or a teacher, decided to stay and study and support each other and to ensure that they became very civilized citizens of this country. They took their destiny into their hands. Okay? Their then headmaster had returned to the UK, wherever. However, they didn't give up. Many other people gave up. These guys knew that if they had to be successful in life, if they had to become the people they wanted to be, they would have to do this by themselves. There were people who said, whether there's somebody available to support us or not, we take our destiny into our own hands. So Mr. Dontry always reminded us, in similar situations, for example, when the teachers went on strike, emulate the behavior of the faithful eight. I can recall that while we were in Mfantsipim, there were so many occasions that we were strengthened by this message, particularly me. There were guys among us who were extremely intelligent. Some of us, not so intelligent. But I recall at prep, based on the messages that we had received from Mr. Dontry, etc., these guys became more of our teachers. I remember in Form 3 when I used to struggle with hard maths, there was Edward Uzuansa, he practically was a teacher to many of us. There was Akofa Ata, science, there was Ebo Granting, there was someone is appealing for his name to be mentioned. But that was the spirit, guys, that we worked with. That was truly the spirit that we worked with. Every single day, we found members of the studying body supporting one another at prep. I remember again that not all of us were privileged enough to bring enough textbooks to school. Based on the principles of the faithful eight, your parents could not afford to buy you books, for instance. You didn't fold your arms and say, because my parents are not buying me books, I'm not going to pass my O level, I'm going to pass my A level. Those were the exam questions at the time. I recall that you will sort of arrange your timetable such that when your friend is learning biology today, you learn biology the next day, so that when his book is free the next day, you can be using his book. You know, that is really what the faithful eight stood for. We learn how to take our destiny into our own hands. Now I have come to really imbibe that. And I'll tell you a little things about myself that have helped me to be where I am now. I think I'm progressing fairly, but I think that a lot of that progress is because I have believed in what I learned from the public radio, from the messages that came from Mr. PK Johnson. And before I go to a little bit of the stories about myself, I just want to share a little other memory, which was, let me skip that. So about myself, if you speak to a lot of people in here, I was one of the dumper students in class when we were in Mfantsipim.
Baba.
Truly, one of the dumper students in class. But it was because there were a lot of competitive students in Mfantsipim at the time. But more so, I knew that I wanted to be a responsible person in future. So every single day, I tried harder and harder and harder. And I started to become better and better. But I never became anything like the best. When we finished school, you wanted to read business administration in the University of Ghana, you needed an aggregate of 4 or 5 to get into university. That's a really competitive grade because we read 3 subjects, and so you had to have 3 A's and at worst 1 B. Try as I did, I couldn't get a grade of that nature, but I did quite well. If I was somebody who hadn't learned from the principles of the Faithful 8, I would have folded my arms and left in despair and done whatever was best to be done. But I really believe that if I really wanted to achieve what I wanted to achieve, I needed to do what I thought was best for me. Okay? So while I didn't get admission into any of the premier universities in Ghana, I studied for the professional exam of the Chartered Institute of Marketing. I completed and became a professional marketeer. I knew that that would not make me competitive enough. So while I took the path to study a professional examination, I was clear in my mind that I would need to do a master's program at some stage to ensure that I'm competitive enough. All of this stems from 2 things. What you learn from the Faithful 8 in terms of taking the destiny of your life into your own hands, and also from the motto of the school, Drink the Camp. You really need to look into the future and have a vision of what you want to achieve and go after that vision. So, I finished the Chartered Institute of Marketing examination, and I made sure I read the master's degree program. That now made me competitive and has ensured that I have remained competitive with my peers in organizations that I have worked for and have progressed accordingly. But I will also tell you one thing that the Faithful 8 did for me. When we finished school, it was really difficult to get a job. Out of the many people who finished university, very few people get access into organizations in this country. And very few people, particularly in those times, had access to capital, as in money, to set up their own businesses. So what did I do? I wasn't going to leave things to take their own course. So at some stage in life, I had the opportunity to do an internship at Akofa Ata Limited. Akofa Ata Limited for 3 months. When I finished, I recognized that I learned a lot from that place. It had developed me significantly, but more importantly, it's going to be a place I would like to work. And in any case, it's difficult to get a job around town. So what did I do? I volunteered to work for no money. I took transport to work and back every day. I attended events and promotions every single day. I worked there for 1 solid year with no remuneration, going in and out, extremely dedicated. That's the spirit of the Faithful 8. After a year, somebody calls me and says, "We have a job for you." Okay? So that's how my professional career started. I have been extremely motivated by the lessons I've learned from Cabo Hill. The biggest lessons that I have picked from here are, if you have to make it in life, you have to take your own destiny into your hands. Any day I hear people complain, saying they don't have jobs, you can't find a job, I get amazed. Any day I see people sitting at home, looking for manna to fall from heaven, I get amazed. Because the opportunities in Africa are significant, they are enormous. People who come from China, people who come from Southeast Asia, enter our markets every single day and are amazed at the number of opportunities. I had the opportunity to work with a lady who was Chinese, who came to work on a project to provide Ghanaians with more decent sanitation. You'd be amazed at the number of Ghanaians who join a queue to use the toilets in the morning. And after she had run this project by putting decent, affordable toilets in people's homes, she came to me and said she wants to resettle in this country because every day that she walks around this country, she sees enormous opportunities. Guys, what I want you to take out of today's discussion is that the world is full of enormous opportunities. And it's only the lazy who don't see these opportunities. And it's only the lazy who don't tap into these opportunities. And it's only those who want to be extremely comfortable in life every single day who don't venture to exploit these opportunities that are available every day. If you lived in Accra, and you came to school in Mfantsipim, and you drove on that road, and you looked to your right, and you looked to your left, and you saw the vast amount of land that sits fallow. Not to say the kind of grass that grows naturally on those lands, which are what cattle love. You'd be amazed at how we see opportunities and we let them pass by. If people in other parts of the world, so many decades ago, were able to land aircraft on the moon and go to space, we should ask ourselves as sons of Mfantsipim, what is it that we cannot do? You'll find us grumbling about very insignificant things that are very mediocre. And I say to people that I work with, anytime you say to yourself, I cannot do this, think about how mediocre you're being. Somebody has been onto the moon before, and then we say, sell a car, or build a car, or do something quite insignificant in that sense. And you say, I cannot. It is because you have said in your mind that you are not capable. Because you haven't put enough effort into trying to discover how you can do it. The world is full of opportunities. If we remain disciplined, and if we say to ourselves, we are capable, and we believe that we can do it, there's nothing that we cannot do in the world. I have been fortunate to work in all continents in the world, with the exception of the Americas. I am convinced in my mind, having worked in Asia, having worked in Africa, South Africa, having worked in Europe, that the talent that Africa has, as good as the talent anywhere else in the world. So we need to ask ourselves, why is it that when we go to school, and we go to European schools, we do as well as they're doing? Why is it that when we are given equal opportunity, we do as well as they're doing? But when we are brought into our own comfort zone back home, we tend to fail. Because we decided to fail. And if we move away from a mindset of looking at ourselves as Africans who are cared well, Africans who can be the best, I can assure you that many of us will start becoming the leaders of tomorrow's world. We have a penchant for mediocrity. When I go to work, I say to my team, if you cannot execute this plan in a first world country, then don't execute it in Ghana. I challenge them to believe that whatever can be done in first world environment can be done in Ghana. If you cannot put a merchandise in Walmart, or in Tesco, or in Carrefour, or all the big supermarkets in the UK, then don't put it in a supermarket in Ghana. Why should the standards in Africa be lower than the standards in the rest of the world? Why is it that when Mfantsipim graduates used to sit the external exams, their average pass grades were higher than those of students in the UK, and yet we are way behind in terms of development. It is because we've agreed that we'll remain mediocre. So I challenge you, sons of Mfantsipim, to start to be a different kind of human being. To start to believe that this school that you're living in and that is building you to be future leaders is giving you something that makes you more competitive than many other people. You are unique, and you need to think big, and you need to believe in yourself. If you look at some of the projects that we saw just this evening, and you think about the capability these young future leaders, which is you, have, I can only encourage you to believe in yourself a lot more. We want to see people who move beyond Mfantsipim, join multinationals, grow in their careers, become leaders of Africa, become leaders globally, people who set up organizations based on the faith and the message of the faithful eight. That if you can take the destiny into your own hands and believe that you can do it, and believe that you are equally good, you will become one of the leaders in the near future, opening a Fortune 500 business, or be one of the top-ranked organizations in the world. And I believe that the time is now, and I believe that we can do it. Too many times, we pick up the culture where we like to blame others for our failure. So I could have agreed to say, because the teachers in Mfantsipim were not good, I have failed. Or I could have agreed to say, because there were inadequate universities in Ghana, I didn't have access to university. Or I could have chosen to say, because there are too few industries in Ghana, I couldn't get a job. I decided not to say that. And I would like for everyone in this room to always say to himself, no. There are opportunities and there are boundless opportunities. If you finish in Mfantsipim and you have bad grades, it's absolutely your responsibility. You fail to make it. It's not because of the teachers, it's not because of the environment, nothing. How different is Wesley Girls High School from Mfantsipim School? The only difference is the girls there have been taught to be a little more disciplined and they take their destiny into their own hands. But in terms of brilliance, no, they're not better than us here. The time has come where all of us take responsibility into our own hands and say, we are the school that was founded by 8 people who took their destiny into their own hands. If we are privileged to have an elite set of teachers guiding us today, an elite set of old boys supporting us with infrastructure and motivation and all the other things that you want to mention, we are going to be the best school to produce the best results across Africa. It's possible. We need to start to say to ourselves, beyond Mfantsipim, we're going to be producing presidents in chains. And the next generation of presidents are all going to come from Mfantsipim. And the next generation of business leaders are all going to come from Mfantsipim. Just give me a moment. So Sons of the Mfantsipim. Because I stayed away from my PC for a while, I just wanted to cross-check whether I covered all the major points that I wanted to cover. I believe for the past 20 minutes or so, I have spoken to you a little bit about myself. I've told you a little bit about Mr. Jontry, who was the headmaster while we were in school. I've told you a little bit about the Faithful Eight and what they stand for, and what I think should take out from the lessons of the Faithful Eight, particularly discipline and destiny, taking your destiny into your own hands. I have given you examples of how, relating my life to the lessons of the Mfantsipim, I have successfully been able to keep track, and I'm where I am today. And I believe that you should follow similar routes. I have also tried to explain to you how everything that happens to you is your responsibility and no one else must take blame for it, because the Faithful Eight in those days would take life into their hands such that they don't blame anybody. There's no reason why we, the privileged ones sitting here tonight, should. And on that note, like I said before I started, I'd like this to be more of a conversation than a monologue. So I thank you for listening with rapt attention. It's been a pleasure passing on these few words to you. And I think that at this stage, I'm not sure what the protocols allow, but if you have any questions, if you want any clarification, if you want to ask anything that you think would inspire you, I'm absolutely happy to take those questions from you. Thank you.